In this video, I'll show you a simple way to draw an anime face step by step. Grab a sheet of paper or your sketchbook and a pencil. Got everything ready? Let's get started. First, we need to draw a simple circle. If you can't draw the circle, you can use a compass. It's totally fine, but keep practicing. The more circles you draw, the better you'll get at them. Now, divide the circle with a horizontal line. This will help us position the facial features correctly, especially the eyebrows and eyes. Next, draw a vertical line through the center of the circle. This will help us keep the face symmetrical and determine the length of the face. And here's a tip. When drawing the initial guidelines, don't press too hard on your pencil. Keep the lines light and soft. Now, we'll divide the vertical line that determines the length of the face into 3 equal sections. This will help us keep the face well proportioned and give it a balanced length. That way, the face won't look too short or too long. Next, let's add the lower part of the face. Start the line from this point and draw it slightly diagonally. It shouldn't be completely vertical, but it shouldn't be too slanted either, just like this. Now, draw a line parallel to the eyebrow line. Why do we need this line? Let me explain. This line will help us draw the left side of the jaw and keep it symmetrical with the right side. And don't worry about all these lines. They're just guidelines to help us understand how to build the face. With practice, you won't need to draw all of them every time. Now, let's draw the eye line. This line will help us place the eyes and keep them symmetrical. Let's erase the circle guideline so we can clearly see what we're doing. Now, we'll add some guidelines to define the eyes and their positions. And here's an important tip. Try to keep the spaces between the features equal so the drawing stays well proportioned. For example, this distance should be roughly the same as this one. And we keep going. Let's erase these guide arrows and the extra guidelines. Now, we're going to start adding the facial features. Let's start with the eyes. We know that an eye consists of an upper eyelid, a lower eyelid, and the pupil. And here, I want you to pay close attention. To draw the eyes in an anime style, we'll start with a simple line. Then we'll draw the upper and lower eyelids. If you notice, the upper eyelid is usually a little farther from the eye guideline compared to the lower eyelid, which is slightly closer to it. Okay, now we have the basic outer shape. Let's move on to the details. We want to add the pupil, but first, we need a vertical guideline to help us find its position. Now, we'll draw a balanced circle inside the eye, with the vertical guideline passing roughly through its center. Then, we'll draw the pupil in a simple way. Now, let's work on the outer shape of the eye. Watch closely. I'll draw a line extending from the upper eyelid, then bring it back over the eye until it reaches the end of the upper eyelid. For the lower eyelid, I'll draw another line starting from the lower eyelid guideline, but this time from the inside of the eye. Now, we'll draw a small rectangle at the inner corner of the eye, like this. Then I'll shade the sides to make the eye stand out more. Now, let's add some shading to make the eye stand out more. We'll shade the pupil as well while leaving a small highlight. Now, let's go back to our drawing. We'll do the same thing on the other eye, but take it step by step. Don't rush. Now, let's move on to the nose. Drawing the nose from the front is actually pretty simple. We just draw the right nostril and the left nostril like this. It's simple, but we need to make sure we place it in the right position. Now, let's take a look at the noses in some of my other drawings. As you can see, it's basically the same technique. The drawing just looks different because every character has their own style and features. Here's a simple explanation of the nose to help you understand it better. A side view anime nose can look something like this, almost like a small triangle. And of course, we're keeping it in an anime style. Now, look at the nose from the front. Always try to imagine the features as three-dimensional shapes. This will help you understand and draw them much better. Let's move on to the mouth. The mouth consists of an upper lip and a lower lip. That's pretty obvious. Now, if we want to draw the mouth, the first thing we'll do is draw a guideline to mark its position. Then we'll draw the upper lip like this. It might be difficult at first, but with practice, you'll definitely get better at it. Then we'll draw the lower lip like this. Now, this isn't an anime-style mouth yet. This is just a general representation of the lips. In anime, artists usually simplify the mouth. They might only draw the mouth line, the shadow underneath the lower lip, and the area above the upper. So it ends up looking something like this. Oh, and one more thing about the width of the mouth. The end of the mouth should be roughly aligned with the beginning of the eye, like this, slightly inside the eye area. The dashed guideline shouldn't reach the middle of the eye. Oh, and regarding the position of the mouth, it should be drawn between the nose and the chin. However, it should be slightly closer to the nose, but not too close. Now, let's move on to the ears. They're pretty easy to draw, but the real challenge is making sure both ears look symmetrical. Let's draw the ears from the front view. First, we'll draw the outer shape of the ear. Try to position the ear between the eyebrow level and the nose. In other words, the ear should start around the bottom of the eyebrow and extend down to about the level of the nose. First, let's draw the ear from a side view so we can understand its structure. The ear is made up of several different areas. We don't need to draw all of these areas every time, but we'll focus on the main parts of the ear. We'll draw the outer shape of the ear. Start with the helix, then move on to the tragus, passing through the antitragus. Finally, we'll add the rook and the flat, and there you go. Now, let's draw the eyebrows. Start slightly in front of the eye and follow the upper shape of the eye. Then add another line above it to create the eyebrow. I'm going for a thicker front and a thinner end. We'll do the same on the other side, using two guidelines to keep the eyebrows symmetrical. Guys, I'd love for you to share your drawings with me in the Community tab. YouTube has now opened this feature so viewers can also share their own posts. I really want to see your results and help you correct any mistakes if there are any. I'd also love to hear your opinion about my way of explaining things. Anyway, keep practicing drawing faces using the method I showed you. With time, consistency, and regular practice, you'll start seeing some really great results. And here's a golden tip. Try drawing before you go to sleep. Your brain continues processing and reviewing things you worked on before sleeping, which can help you remember what you practiced. I know I gave you a lot of guidelines and lines today, so please bear with me. I just really want you to learn properly. And please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave them in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in a new video.